Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into something that has honestly been driving business leaders absolutely crazy lately. We're talking about the real costs, the hidden traps, and, the actual value of AI implementation here in Australia. If you've been feeling totally overwhelmed by all the noise out there, don't worry, we are going to figure this whole thing out together. Let's kick things off with a phrase that literally strikes fear into the hearts of managers and IT teams everywhere. Just look into AI, right? You've probably been handed this vaguely terrifying mandate by a boss or a board member, but nobody actually knows what that means in a practical sense. It's incredibly frustrating. And naturally, that immediately leads us to the absolute million-dollar question. So, how much is this actually going to cost? Well, when you dig into the research, the answers are maddeningly inconsistent. You'll find articles claiming you can get started for a simple $20 monthly subscription, while the next one is quoting you a massive six-figure custom build. There's a huge gap there. And that gap between those two numbers, that is exactly where most businesses end up losing their money, simply because they don't have a solid plan tied to a measurable outcome. Okay, so here's our roadmap to demystifying AI pricing. We're going to cover the AI price tag myth, 2026 AI cost benchmarks, where the money really goes, the 80% failure trap, and finally, how to invest smartly. Let's jump right into Section 1, the AI price tag myth, and why standard pricing just doesn't exist. So, as it turns out, AI isn't just some plug-and-play software subscription. You can't just pick a plan, swipe a credit card, and instantly transform your entire business. No way. It's a fundamental operational change. Actually, think of it exactly like a home renovation. And yep, it's just as prone to unexpected surprises. If you ask a builder, hey, how much does a renovation cost? They'll tell you it depends entirely on your existing foundation, what you're trying to improve, and how much needs fixing before the visible work even starts. The exact same logic applies to AI. Moving right along to Section 2, 2026 AI cost benchmarks, and what Australian businesses are actually paying. So, the crucial takeaway from the data here is that your costs completely scale with your complexity. A basic, off-the-shelf tool, that might run you anywhere from $0 to $2,000 a month. But the moment you want a configured single workflow automation, say for client intake, you're suddenly looking at a $5,000 to $25,000 upfront investment. Want multi-workflow agents? That jumps up into the $40,000 to $120,000 range. In enterprise scale, wow, those easily stretch from $120,000 to well over $400,000. But wait. That upfront build, that's really only part of the story. The data strongly shows that you absolutely must budget an additional 15 to 25% of your initial development cost annually. This is absolutely crucial to cover platform updates, routine system maintenance, and the constant optimization you need to keep things running smoothly as your business grows and evolves. All right, on to Section 3, where money actually goes. We're uncovering the hidden iceberg here. Now, what's truly fascinating about the breakdown of these budgets is that software licensing, which, let's be honest, most people assume is the biggest expense, is actually the smallest slice of the pie. The real money, it goes into the heavy lifting. It goes into strategy, like running an X-ray workshop to discover where your actual bottlenecks are. It goes into workflow design, integration engineering to make sure your systems actually talk to each other, and crucially, governance and change management to ensure your staff actually use the new tech safely. And this brings us to a literal golden rule of implementation. Listen to this. AI does not fix inefficient processes. It just makes broken processes fail faster. Think about it. If your workflow is already a mess of manual handoffs and duplicate tasks, layering AI on top of that is just going to accelerate the confusion. It's like putting a rocket engine on a broken bicycle. This is exactly why process mapping and workflow design are such critical parts of your budget. You have to fix the process before you automate it. Let's look at Section 4, the 80% failure trap, and the incredibly high stakes of poor scoping. It's honestly staggering to discover that according to research from the RAND Corporation, 80% of AI projects completely fail to deliver their expected business value. 80%! And the primary cause isn't even the technology failing. It's poor scoping, having unclear definitions of what success actually looks like, and fading executive sponsorship. Basically, businesses are automating the wrong things simply because they skipped the foundational groundwork. Now, to put that 80% failure rate into a truly shocking perspective, out of the $684 billion spent globally on enterprise AI in 2025, $547 billion of that was completely wasted. You heard that right.
Over $500 billion poured into projects that produced absolutely zero measurable results, all because they didn't have quantified success metrics defined before the work even began. And hey, if throwing away money wasn't enough of a risk for you, let's talk about compliance. The Australian Privacy Act amendments, which come into full effect on December 10, 2026, carry penalties of up to $50 million for failing to govern and disclose automated decision-making that involves personal information. So, if you try to cut corners on governance and compliance during your build, you are exposing your business to massive, massive regulatory fines. No thank you.
All right, finally, Section 5, how to invest smartly. Let's look at a clear, low-risk path forward.
The real secret here is to completely avoid the temptation of those massive, day-one, company-wide transformations. Seriously, don't do it. Instead, start small. Step 1, pick just one operational bottleneck, like client onboarding or document generation. Step 2, map out that exact process meticulously. Step 3, engineer the integration perfectly for just that one single workflow. And finally, step 4, prove the value. Train your staff to really trust it, and only then expand. This builds internal confidence and, most importantly, drastically lowers your risk. And here's a massive advantage that so many businesses completely overlook. Eligible small businesses, meaning those with an annual turnover under $20 million, doing custom experimental AI builds, can actually access a 43.5% refundable tax offset through the Australian government's R&D Tax Incentive. If your project seeks to resolve genuine technical uncertainty, well, this can significantly reduce the effective cost of your custom build. That's huge.
Ultimately, you really need to change your frame of reference. We have to stop comparing AI implementation costs to those cheap $20 software subscriptions. That is just the wrong math. You need to start comparing the cost of AI to the thousands of hidden hours your team wastes every single year. Think about the time spent updating spreadsheets, chasing down approvals, and manually copying data between systems. You are already paying for all that lost capacity. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought as we wrap up this explainer. Stop asking what the cheapest AI platform is. Instead, ask yourself right now, which manual process is costing your business the absolute most every single week? Because figuring that out and solving that specific bottleneck, well, that is exactly what the right AI investment looks like. Thank you so much for joining me, and I challenge you to go find that bottleneck today.